we're set to go. Dezi Ford begins to make his way into the ring. And you take a look at Dez, and the first thing that's noticeable, does he have something wrong with his eyes? I asked Dezi, I said, hey, Dezi, what's wrong with your eyes? I said at the weigh-in yesterday. He said, well, he said, actually, I had an injury. It wasn't an eye injury, but it was the side of my head. My girlfriend pushed me out the window of a hotel. Somebody interrupted me, and I never did quite get the story. Smitty, did you find out what happened to him? He must have a vicious girlfriend.
We sent our research team to find out, but no real word on the exact extent or how that injury was caused.
He's an interesting kid. He's a nice kid. He hails from Nashville, Tennessee. His record's 24, 15, and 2, 9 KOs. This is a big step up in class for him tonight. As we start the show off, he'll be taking on Juan Martin Coggi, a 3-time former world champion who'll be making his ring walk momentarily. This is Dezi's 6th fight this year. He fought 14 times last year, but this is his first world-class opponent that he's taking on tonight. He's a real character. We talked about the eye and his girlfriend pushing him out, but he's going to have a whole different sort of problem tonight with Juan Martin Coggi, because Coggi is in that class where he needs a victory tonight to get a shot at his 4th world title. There he is, Dezi Ford, a really nice kid from the short time that I've had to get to know him.
3-time world champion Coggi, a guy who has fought Frankie Rando. I remember the 3 battles with Frankie Rando, and turned pro in 1982. He's a tremendous record of 74-4 and 244 KOs. Not the greatest puncher in the world, Coggi, but tremendous champion. Always comes fit and ready to go.
Here he is, Juan Martin Coggi, 74-4 and 2, 44 KOs. The pride of Santa Fe in Argentina. We've got a huge audience down there in Argentina watching tonight, so he's known for his worldwide travel around, and he's got a great chin. The kid's been around a long time. He's been a professional for the past 17 years. He's met just about every challenge with terrific success. We mentioned the fact that he's a 3-time world champion, and let's see how the fellas measure up as we take a look at the tail of the tape. There's a few things that this tape will show you. First off, that Coggi is 1.5 inches taller. The weight is about the same, although Coggi's a ½ pound heavier. He's 7 years older at 36 to 29, and he has a 1-inch advantage in reach. So they're fairly close with the exception of the age. Smitty, take a look at the rules here.
The Nevada rules, 10-point must scoring, no standing 8 count. 3 knockdown rule is in effect, Bob. Fighter can be saved by the bell except in the last round. Actually, fighters cannot be saved by the bell except in the final round, and only the referee can stop the action.
So we're set to go. I see Jimmy Lennon Jr., the very finest of all ring announcers, is ready to go, and so are we. So without further ado, let's go to the finest ring announcer in the business, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you. We welcome you to the Las Vegas Hilton here in Las Vegas, Nevada, as we present a big night of action coming your way, a USSB big event brought to you by Don King Productions and U.S. Satellite Broadcasting in association with the Las Vegas Hilton and Budweiser, the undisputed, undefeated king of beers. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we present one of our featured attractions, 10 rounds of boxing, junior welterweights in action. Our judges scoring this bout from ringside, Carol Castellano, Chuck Jumpa, and Al Siciliano, and presenting to you our referee in charge of this bout, Jay Nady. All right, fans, here we go. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing dark blue trunks with white and red trim, joining us from Nashville, Tennessee. He weighed in at 145 pounds with a record of 24 wins, 15 losses, and 2 draws. He has 9 wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing Dezi, DZ Time Ford. And his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the red corner in this 10-round attraction, entering the ring wearing white trunks with blue trim, joining us all the way from Santa Fe, Argentina. His weight 145.5 pounds with a fine record of 74 wins, 4 losses, and 2 draws. He has 44 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the 3-time WBA champion of the world, Juan Martin Latigo Coggi. Once again, referee in charge, Jay Nady, now to give instructions. 10 rounds of boxing scheduled.
So we're just about set to go here. We'll listen to Jay Nady.
Okay, it's the belly button to the hip bone. Straight below that's a foul.
You're just telling him we talked about the rules before the fight. Juan Martin Coggi filled with confidence. This is his third fight this year. His last time out, which was actually last month, he won a unanimous decision over Silvio Rojas. And Dezi actually lost his last time out, so he wants to get things going on. He lost to Adrian Stone in another one of those controversial decisions down in Biloxi, Mississippi. But he realizes that this can change his career, so he's coming in here in terrific shape from Nashville.
He's been stopped 7 times in his career, Dezi Ford has, so.
Well, let's see if the younger fighter at 29 years old, in the peak of his career, can stand up to the experience of Juan Martin Coggi. It's Coggi in the white trunks with the blue trim, and the other way around, it's Dezi Ford in the blue trunks with the white and red trim. Dezi's going to have to establish himself because this guy from Santa Fe, Argentina, can fight. You see that he's a southpaw, jabbing with that right hand. And immediately for Dezi Ford, who's only fought one southpaw in his career, he trained for the southpaw fighter. But the problem is when you've got a guy like Ford who is fighting southpaw himself, things are still strange. So
yeah, the feet will come together a lot of it. It'll be a very awkward fight. Dezi's sticking that chin up in the air, and I don't like his stance right now here early, Bob.
I'll tell you, the Nevada Commission sent him to get that eye tested, but the way when I was up close to him, I mean, I just wonder how good he can see, although they're very, very strict here in the Nevada Commission about, you know, all of the physical things. They make them take the test for the heart and for the eyes and everything else. They're very, very strict here, so they wouldn't let him get away with it if he wasn't in perfect condition. You see Dezi now fighting as an orthodox fighter now, jabbing with the left hand, so he'll switch up on you.
It's a little soft around the body, Dezi does. Oh, and the right hand was weak there that he just threw. Coggi's so experienced, having had 80 fights and 3-time champion.
And you notice another thing, Smitty, that you pointed out, a little bit of awkwardness by Dezi Ford, the way he throws his right hand. It's almost like a slap, like you'll see his wrist leading the glove instead of the top of the hand and the fist turning it over, that you need to have some power in your punches. Watch when he throws a punch. Dez almost slaps. Now you can get away with that if you got a real aggressiveness and you're a strong fighter when you're fighting journeyman type fighters. And he's a journeyman fighter in his own right. And this is a big step up in class for him. And that's what this fight's all about, to see if he can move up to that next level, or will Juan Martin Coggi just keep things going his way to get another title shot down in South America, because he is a huge star down in Santa Fe in Argentina.
Coggi trying to set up the straight left hand, being a southpaw when of course Dezi comes in.
And of course, when you fight a southpaw, the best way to fight him is you got to throw that right hand right down the middle. And instead, Dez came out instead of fighting southpaw himself. That's the wrong idea, the wrong thing to do against an experienced guy like Juan Martin Coggi. You got to go out there with your game plan and not let the fact that Coggi's a southpaw or a very experienced fighter throw you off your game plan. See, he's not coming down. You see the way he throws his hands?
Yeah.
He slaps with his punch.
The right hand of Dezi there, pretty weak, almost an amateurish type of.
Oh, it's very amateurish, Smitty. Good point.
Coggi, although 44 KOs to his credit, I've never considered him a great puncher, Bob.
All right, the bell ends round number 1. It's a Coggi round, all right.
In the corner of Juan Martin Coggi, Bob. I gave him that first round, not much problem with Dezi Ford in round number 1.
Dezi showing a lot of amateurish moves, and it'll be just a matter of time if he continues to do that, unless he gets very, very lucky before Juan Martin catches up with him. Also, if you notice another thing, and that's a good shot, notice how wide apart the legs are of Dezi Ford. You can't get power with your punches unless you drive off that hind foot. He doesn't do it. He throws his punch with his legs separated like that. You can't get power throwing punches like that. He doesn't get his hip, he doesn't get his leg into it, and he doesn't drive off that leg. In fact, you see the way the leg buckled down? Great shot by camera guys as I was talking about that, to pick that up. And if your leg buckles when you're throwing that punch, you've got nothing on it.
No, he's way too wide, and again, the right hand over the top that he's throwing looks like some of the basketball fights I've seen recently in the NBA.
Dezi has that look on his face. I like this kid. He's really a character. I'd like to see him do well, but I think that he's in against a real tough cookie with a lot of experience here in Juan Martin Coggi.
Interesting thing about Coggi, his first 34 fights were all at home in Argentina. I mean, 34 in a row at home before he ventured elsewhere.
And again, Juan Martin Coggi in the white trunks looking for one final shot at the world title. He's had 3 times world championship belts around his midsection. He'd like to add a 4th one before his career is over and, of course, get one more big payday. He's a national hero down in Argentina. He gets a shot through there. Dezi tries to counter it. Notice the front feet getting tied up between the southpaw and the right-handed fighter. Dez has to hang on as Coggi puts the pressure on. And Coggi just establishing himself now. A lot of puffiness around the right cheekbone of Juan Martin Coggi. It's starting to balloon up there a bit. One of those slapping shots must have got through with a little more on it than we thought.
Coggi throwing more authoritative punches right now, Bob, and Dezi sticking his chin way up in the air, which is very inviting.
Coggi getting position, getting his right foot to the outside of the outstretched left foot of the challenger, in this case, Dezi Ford, although it's not a championship fight. And this was billed as a junior welterweight fight. I should mention that the junior welterweight division means that they fight not over 140. These guys both come in at 145 and 145.5 respectively, and that actually means that they're fighting at the welterweight division where the limit is 147, so we make that clear.
One of the things, Coggi's always in great condition, though, Bob. You've called many of his fights. He's always in splendid condition.
Nice job slipping the punch there. The lazy right hand comes out. And you see again that Dezi Ford has switched around. He was fighting as a southpaw. Now he's back the orthodox style. And changing up against a guy like Juan Martin Coggi. There's 2 reasons why guys do that. They think that they can throw the guy off. The other thing, sometimes they get lazy, they switch around. Or he was a natural southpaw and he turned around to become a right-handed fighter so he could get more fights. And then he slips back into it as the bell ends round number 2.
Right foot outside of his foot.
Inside Ford's corner there, Bob. I don't know what they're telling him. The instruction should be stick to the orthodox style and throw your right hand with some authority and be a little bit more aggressive, which I think I heard that mentioned just then.
Free and hard. And don't forget, tomorrow night on the Showtime Network on U.S. Satellite Broadcasting, Laurent Boudouani and Guillermo Jones get it on in a rematch for the WBA Junior Middleweight Championship. And the IBF Bantamweight Champion, Tim Austin, puts his title on the line against Adrian Kaspari. You'll also see Nana Kanadu against Julio Salinas and Eric Hamili against Kerman Guardia. So you've got 3 world title fights tomorrow night again on U.S. Satellite Broadcasting. The best boxing on TV is on USSB. I'm Bob Sheridan, working with me tonight with Carlos Palomino in training and Christy Martin in training. I'm fortunate to have the nationally known talk show host, affectionately known by his audience as Smitty, but we've known him as Jimmy Smith. And Jimmy, former featherweight fighter himself, adding his expert commentary here, and you picked up some good things so far in this fight, Smitty, too, I'll tell you.
Well, Dezi's on his bicycle here early in round number 3. He's back to the south. I can't figure out what he's doing. He's confusing me. He's not confusing Coggi, but he's confusing me, switching back and forth.
Well, now here he is back fighting orthodox again, and I think he's confusing himself because he's certainly not confusing Coggi. Coggi knows enough to get position. When he wants to, he'll work his right leg inside. When he wants to come inside, when he wants to deliver a hook with his right hand, he gets his right foot outside of the outstretched left foot. And now the hot dog style of Dezi Ford. Now, Dezi can get away with this sort of thing with lesser opponents. It's not going to fool Juan Martin Coggi at all. You see about a minute and a half to go here in the 3rd round. This I don't fault Dezi for, because Dezi may figure he's got to do something to get this guy off his game plan, because Juan Martin Coggi has won the first couple of rounds, and Dezi Ford may realize that's exactly what's happened, because he has been able to get through with a sneaky left hand that time, and every once in a while a sneaky right. It's his best shot. He doesn't really set anything up, but he throws awkward slapping punches, but he's got to do whatever will work for him.
And it hasn't been much thus far, but you're right. The little unorthodox style there worked well. He landed a few shots, didn't do any damage to Coggi. But but nevertheless, he landed a few blows.
Another thing, Smitty, is a lot of his punches are very wide. We talked about the wide separation of his feet. You see now the feet get tied up together again. When you have the wide shot, you can see that it happens on a regular basis. And Coggi just taking advantage of all of these little things, staying under control, staying with his fight plan, landing his jab, getting through there with the left hand. That's his power hand with the southpaw fighter. Dezi backfighting as a southpaw again.
Coggi clipped him with a pretty good straight left a little earlier there, Bob. He's really trying to set that up, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it land in a big way here pretty soon.
Closing seconds now. This is the third round, and the third round is history. And I got to tell you, there's another round for Coggi on my scorecard. I got him pitching a shutout through 3 rounds.
Sacaste 2 manos, ¿no? El jab siempre es primero, se lo está comiendo todo ya. Cada vez que se lo tira hacia acá, se lo está comiendo. Y cuando se viene como loco, levantalo con el upper, lo vas a encontrar con el upper. Si no pega nada, pega cachetazo. Cachetazo pega.
Well, basically, they told him, hey, you're doing great, just keep it up.
There's that right hand, or left straight left hand I referred to by Coggi, set up by the right jab, southpaw style of a Coggi, but that was the best shot of the fight. But Dezi, to his credit, weathered it. Again, as I mentioned earlier, Coggi, not a great puncher. He's really made the most of all of his talents, though, Juan Martin Coggi, 3-time world champion, 74-4-2, Bob, and he's made the most of, I don't think having the greatest ability, but he's been a great champion.
Well, he certainly had a lot more ability than anyone in Argentina, because you pointed out the fact that he had all of his early fights down there. I mean, you don't win 74 fights in this tough profession without being a pretty good fighter. And Juan Martin Coggi, who has held a buckle 3 times, who just got clipped by a pretty good uppercut that time. These types of things that Dezi Ford is doing, these awkward things, is probably his only shot to be successful and get lucky and hope that he can clip this guy, because he does just about everything wrong. Sneaky right hand lead. He's got a great heart, though. I like this kid. You talk about contrasting style of fighters. You get the consummate professional. Nice shot that time that buckled the knees of Dez Ford. That's probably the heaviest punch of the fight landed, was that left power shot by Juan Martin Coggi, and it did buckle the knees and stunned Dez Ford that time.
Certainly got his attention.
Don't forget, Coggi has knocked out 44 opponents, so most of the time it's an accumulation of punches and TKOs and that sort of thing, but he has got 44 knockouts of TKOs to his credit. And one thing that Dez doesn't want to do is what he was doing just there. He's going to get pounded and stand flat-footed in front of Juan Martin Coggi. He better keep moving, and if he's going to be awkward, and he is awkward, he might as well stay that way, but don't stand like he is right there, because Coggi will bore right in with him. Nice sneaky left hand, and don't forget that's the power hand by the more experienced former world champ Juan Martin Coggi in the white trunks. Oh, nice shot again by Coggi.
Good body shot.
These shots will begin to take a toll now. He's hitting him with body shots, as Smitty pointed out. He's coming back with the uppercut inside. He's beating Ford to the punch all the time. Ford tries to tie him up with his left hand inside. He gets nailed with the left hook, and his left hook is really a left cross and a power left hand from Juan Martin Coggi. As the pace is picked up here in the 4th round for Coggi. Again, Dezi tries to tie him up inside, and Coggi is now dictating the pace of this fight.
And inside, even on the inside, you can see that free left hand. That's the power hand of Coggi, and right to the body he digs it, Bob, and he's really working Dezi over this round.
Dez is not going to be able to take those vicious body shots like that. He doesn't do anything about it, and as I say that, he steps up into a real crisp jab, and Dez is now getting beat to the punch, and this is a real definitive round for Juan Martin Coggi as we come to the 20 seconds remaining mark, and it's the 4th round of a scheduled 10-round affair here to get a night of boxing underway here on U.S. Satellite Broadcasting. Closing seconds now of this, the 4th round of the fight, and this is a good Coggi round, a real good Coggi round. And the bell will end round 4. Juan Martin Coggi. And here we go with the replay.
You can see the straight right jab, right to the chin by Coggi. Really worked Dezi over that round. Good effective body punching as well. And Dezi actually, at the end of that round, Bob, looked pained and fatigued.
Juan, en el cuerpo, mete las dos manos en el medio para levantarte pegando.
This guy's breathing pretty heavy, too. Don't forget, he's 36 years old and been in a lot of tough fights over his career, spanning some 80 fights. This is the 5th round. I'm Bob Sheridan, working with me, Jimmy Smith. We're at the Hilton Showroom in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is a famous room we're in. Elvis Presley performed his sold-out audiences here for year after year after year. Liberace, the flamboyant entertainer, worked this room. Starlight Express was here at the Hilton for a long time, and now they got new shows in here. Smitty, you had some boxing history for this room, too, didn't you?
Yeah, I think the first time I ever saw a fight on, I believe it was ABC's Wide World of Sports, was Charles Sonny Liston, the former heavyweight champion, against Leotis Martin right here. And the interesting thing to that fight, Liston dominated the fight, but got knocked out. But it was Leotis Martin who would never fight again because of a detached retina. But some great history right here at the theater at the Las Vegas Hilton.
And that's good history for me, because I didn't know that. All the fights that I've broadcast out of here have either been out in the parking lot or in the convention center right next door. And this is the first time that we've done a fight in this particular showroom. It's a great venue for boxing. Everybody can see in every seat in here. It's terrific. This is the junior welterweight 10-round affair with Juan Martin Coggi giving a boxing lesson right now to Dez Ford. Nice shot by the former champion from Santa Fe, Argentina. He's working him over these body shots, and those are liver shots. Blood coming from the mouth of Dez Ford right now. Dez loads up his shot. You see the way his hand was twisted around? He doesn't get any power because he just doesn't do anything properly.
Matter of time, Bob, for Dezi Ford now. Matter of time.
Break! Coggi doesn't change expression. He never appears to be upset whether he gets knocked down or no matter what happens. Not that he's had any trouble with Dez in this fight at all, but Dez came here with an opportunity of a lifetime to move from the opponent class into perhaps a world-class type of fighter. But Juan Martin Coggi is just giving him all the experience of his some 80 fights and showing that he is the world-class guy against this kid that was trying to make the step from journeyman, and it looks like he's going to stay there for a little bit longer. This is a major league step up for him to fight a guy of the caliber of Juan Martin Coggi.
Dezi Ford, the mouth wide open, looks really fatigued.
Coggi's been 10 rounds several times in his career, and Dezi Ford only a handful of times in his career has he gone much beyond the 4th round. He's had a lot of fights too. As I look down here, Ford, you got to go all the way back to 1997, 96 before you can see any fights that he's actually gone 10 rounds. He fights a lot, but he doesn't go the distance too often. But he hasn't been fighting opponents like Juan Martin Coggi.
Those Randall fights with Coggi were great battles.
Terrific fights. We're in the 5th round, closing seconds of it now. Oh, nice shot that time. He's having really a field day with this guy. The last couple of rounds, the 4th and 5th rounds, are definitive rounds for Juan Martin Coggi.
And despite being a southpaw, great illustration there. Coggi landed a right to the body, or a left hook to the body, then a right hand to the head. It was like a right hook, which was actually my favorite shot, Bob. A lot of guys don't throw it, but my right hook was my favorite blow. Look at some of this work I was talking about by Juan Coggi. Inside, he lands a punch right there to the chest, which you can see that he's setting up that left, and there's a boom. The right hand over the top. Just good inside work there by Coggi. He's all over Dezi.
He never loses control either, and you know that's the thing that Dezi hasn't had, Smitty, is any control. You see, even though he's landing, his punches are short, crisp, he's right to the point.
And there's that right hook I mentioned. Here it comes again. I love that punch, Bob.
Second foul, let's go.
All right, we're ready to go to 6. I'm Bob Sheridan. Jimmy Smith, the
Get that mask going out there.
nationwide
over there.
ringside seat talk show host working with me. Glad to have Smitty with us, and hope you're enjoying wherever you're watching on the U.S. Satellite Broadcasting Network. This is a junior welterweight fight featuring former world champion, 3-time champ Juan Martin Coggi in the white trunks against Dez Ford. Dez from Nashville, Tennessee. Coggi here from Santa Fe, Argentina, showing all his experience against Dez Ford. Dez has a lot of heart. He tries to be flashy from time to time, but standing flat-footed in front of a three-time world champ is not the way to get the job done tonight.
And those wild blows like he just missed, Dezi missed, take a lot out of you to miss those type of punches, especially for a guy already fatigued and battered and bleeding.
And the other thing is that those digging left hands to the body, to the right side of the body of Dezi Ford, are taking a toll. And the way you can tell that is when Coggi just kind of stamps his foot and feints, you'll see Ford go down like this. He doesn't want to get hit, man. He doesn't want to get hurt because those punches are hurting him to the body. And I'd like to see Coggi, yeah, there it is there, another good body shot. That was to the other side. But I think that's the way for him to really punish Ford right now, is concentrate on the body for a round or two, and this guy's hands will come down and it'll be all over.
You can see his hands dropping already because of that right hook to the body.
Coggi sees that blood coming out of the mouth, so he's headhunting a little bit more than he needs to at this stage. He knows what he wants to do in there. The heck, the guy's had over 80 professional fights. He's been in with the best in the division, been the champs. And Dez Ford is not a guy he's going to let him take him out of contention for another big payday. We're in the 6th round. This one's scheduled for 10. And don't forget, coming up, we've got the Federal Latin. It's a 12-round fight in the welterweight championship order with James Page against Eric Alexander. And we also have Jose Bonilla and Hugo Soto, a main event for the WBA World Flyweight Championship. And as time permits, we'll show you some of the Freddie Pendleton-Tehran Millette fight.
U.S. Satellite Broadcasting doing a great job with that boxing channel, Bob, and really, for boxing fans, you got to have it.
Oh, it's terrific. There's no doubt about it.
Although my wife's a little tired of me playing the boxing channel 24 hours a day.
Join the crowd. We're in the 6th round. Bob Sheridan with Jimmy Smith.
Bob, I have Coggi pitching a shutout. Needless to say.
He's just able to do almost anything he wants. Closing seconds now. This is the 6th round. And I think Coggi will want to try to pick this pace up now in the 7th round and try to get this guy out of here. There's the bell ending the 6th. All right, here we go with round number 7. Juan Martin Coggi and Dezi Ford. Now, as all you fans know, we have the best boxing on television on U.S. Satellite Broadcasting. Don't forget to watch Channel 900 for great boxing events like that Holyfield fight that you saw. The promo for there next week, June 6th. Henry Akinwande trying to get a shot at the title, and he's getting it. Whether he can lift it or not is what it's all about. Tune in to USSB for great boxing, brought to you by all of the best networks in the world. You'll see great boxing on all channels on U.S. Satellite Broadcasting. All right. The 7th round of a scheduled 10-round affair, and so far it's been Juan Martin Coggi in the white trunks just having a field day with Dez Ford. The first couple of rounds didn't do a heck of a lot, but then you began to get the idea that Coggi was going to really take command along about the 4th round. He had a real strong 4th, 5th, and 6th round. We're in the 7th, and now it's just kind of academic as far as I'm concerned. If Coggi would start going to the body spin, he'd just take the steam right out of this guy's sails and end this punishment of Dez Ford.
And I think the goal for Coggi should be to chop this guy down and put him away. He needs a big win. Coggi does at this point. For Dezi, it's just survival. Seeing if he can go the distance here.
Well, for Dez, he's trying to learn from this fight, too. He hasn't fought anybody in this caliber. He's trying to hang in there and hope that he gets lucky, but it's going to take more than luck because Coggi is a very skilled fighter. 3rd man in the ring doing a nice job, Jay Nady.
Great body shot right to the body of Dezi.
Dez doesn't want to sit here in the ropes. He's cut with the right hand that time. He tries to fight off the ropes. Coggi gets back, gets himself some punching room. Watch for that left hand that comes zinging through there. Bang! It just goes over the glove and whistles past the nose, but this one didn't. That dug to the body. And you see now Jay Nady has to come in and pull him away as Ford is having to hang on. You notice that the legs are starting to go with every round, that Dezi's not looking strong in his legs at all anymore. And Coggi really teeing off. And if he stays to that body, he's going to bring this guy down in a hurry, I'll tell you. They just chop him down with those body shots.
They're unforgiving, Bob. You can recover from a headshot, but not from those type of body shots, and certainly Coggi's landed a lot of them during this fight.
The problem for Coggi in his mind to stick to the body shots is that he sees those hands down in the mid-chest area, and he can hit them. So, you know, it's a natural tendency to want to go for the head, but what will do more than 2 or 3 more shots to the head right now is 1 or 2 more shots to the body.
Let go of his head. Don't push him down.
Coggi not looking too fatigued for being in the 7th round. Hasn't been hit too much, although he's puffy around the eyes. Coggi does a nice job counter-punching. Now Dez goes for a little walk, and Coggi tries to track him down. He plants his foot, and the bell ends round 7. And just another one of those 10-9 rounds that have been going on since round number 1 for Juan Martin Coggi.
I have 7 of them in the book right now.
Here's Coggi's corner. We'll listen in.
See a little abrasion. A little abrasion around the right eye there. It looks like left eye of Coggi, I thought, Bob. On the side of the eye where it didn't do any damage, no blood. It just looked like a little abrasion there.
It's got a little abrasion, yeah. You're right below the left eye and beside the left eye, and it's puffy around the right eye. But after 7 rounds, even when you're dictating the pace of the fight, you're going to get clipped with a few shots, and that's what happens.
Great uppercut by Coggi there. Left uppercut. Really working Dezi over from the... Dezi doesn't know what to do here, Bob. On the inside, it's all Coggi. On the outside, it's all Coggi. It's just been all Coggi.
This guy says, hey, you know, got to get up and go back to work now. That's the way he looks. He's not killing himself. He's just doing the job, winning every single round. We're in round number 8. I'm Bob Sheridan, working with me, Jimmy Smith. Oh, nice shot straight through with that left hand. He clips him. That's the power hand for the former champ, Juan Martin Coggi. And I think he's hurt him now. The guy's legs are buckled a little bit. He shakes his head, trying to get the cobwebs clear. But Coggi wants to line him up with another one of those straight lefts. He's not listening to us, Smitty. He's not going to the body at all. He's going right for that head. Side to side, he slips back to the right. And this is a good thing for Ford to be doing. He's either got to do this or hang on and then try to get lucky with a wild shot. But Coggi right down the middle again with that left hand. And you see the Dezi Ford with less experience trying to bounce around. But sooner or later, he'll stop, and then Coggi will walk right in on him and bang him again with that left hand. He knows he can hit him, and he knows he can hurt him once with it. That
was a heck of a straight left. I think he's done a great job of surviving it thus far, though, Dezi has.
He has. He can take a shot because he's been clipped at least 4 or 5 times. No, real hard body shot that time. And those body shots, that's how I'd like to see him continue to whack him, is right in that belly and just around the liver area to the right side and bang up there to the right side of the rib cage. And that's why the arms are down and why the head is so easy to hit. See that digging shot right there with the left hand? That looks like nothing. Well, folks, if you're on the receiving end of that hurts. Smitty, you must know as a former fighter yourself that those shots like that really hurt your ribs.
I've had a few cracked ribs, and it's a painful experience. And Coggi just cleaning up on Dezi, you see here in the corner.
And there's that body shot. And he does exactly what he should do. I see what Coggi wants to do now. When Ford ties him up, as long as he can keep a hand free, he'll bang to the body. So instead of doing the body shots when he's outside, he'll wait till Ford grabs him, bang him on the inside, and go headhunting while he's outside. So, hey, it's working for him. He's winning every round. We're in the 8th round, and it's all Juan Martin Coggi.
Bob, Coggi punches effectively with either hand. He has the great straight left, but he also has, and we've seen it so many times, a very good right hook.
He has. A little lazy now, but he's a little lazy with confidence. You know, he knows what he can do, and he really wants to throw the left hand. And he doesn't really care whether he goes upstairs or downstairs now. He wants to punish him with the left hand. He knows he can land it, and he also is certainly confident that he can't be hurt by Dez, although he could be vulnerable to wild shots. The uppercut scores. Nice right hand. That's a right hook in his case from the southpaw. Straight right hand jab, looking to land the big left to try to finish this thing and catch him for a punch. Remember, Ford hasn't been down to this stage. He's been hit with everything that Coggi's had to offer. Nice looping left hand that time. Closing seconds now, just the 8th round. And it appears like he'll escape and get into the 9th round. Nice shots here. He buckles the knees again, but he doesn't drop him. Digs to the body. A nice finish to the 9th round, to the 8th round for Juan Martin Coggi. The bell ends round 8. A punishing round for Dezi Ford.
Almost a 10-8 round there, Bob. No knockdown, but I tell you, Coggi really dominated the action, and we'll see why right here. Coggi with a tremendous straight left hand, and then he's trying to clean up on Dezi Ford. Dezi's head really snapped back. Now the body work we've been talking about, Bob, by Juan Coggi. Digs a left underneath. That hurt. That hurt me here at ringside.
You see a shot like that, that makes you double up yourself. We'll listen in.
Sí, no. Dale agua.
Agua. Tómala, trágala nomás ahora, que no se me queme la. Está muerto por todos lados.
Trying to fill those lungs with oxygen. Gasping for air. And the translation is they're saying just hit him from all sides, and I don't know if they really have to tell Coggi to do that. He's doing that pretty much, isn't he, Smitty?
All on his own. I scored that last one 10-8, Bob. It was just even though there wasn't a knockdown, as I mentioned, he really dominated.
It was a stronger round. You have to go back to the 5th round for him to have such a good round as he had in the 8th round. And oftentimes in the 10-point must scoring system, unless there's a knockdown, they score at 10-9. And they really, maybe they should talk to the judge a little bit more about 10-8 rounds and maybe make the 10-7 rounds with a knockdown, because there's a separation between a lot of the rounds of the 10-9 rounds, and certainly the 4th, the 5th, and that last 8th round. There was stronger rounds for Coggi, and it is not indicative, by the way we're scoring the fight here tonight.
There's blood on Coggi's stomach and trunks, but it's Ford's.
Here he is, bangs to the body, back upstairs to the head. He knows that Ford can't hit him, and he has no respect for him at all anymore. Although Ford has hit him with some wild shots. You see the difference between the really experienced fighter and the journeyman fighter. Ford has got a lot of heart. He wants to fight. He hasn't been down. He won't go down. He wants to beat Coggi, but he just lacks that ability. His punches are wide. His jab doesn't have a lot of sting. He's tried to confuse him by switching back and forth from the orthodox right-handed style of fighting back to a southpaw. And Juan Martin caught him with a real good right hand that time, spun the head of Ford, but Ford's legs didn't buckle. This kid's tough.
He really is. And, you know, I mentioned earlier that I've always wondered what made Coggi so successful, and I'm getting a chance calling the fight to see it. He just works well, left, right, over, under. He has all the necessary punches, and he's busy all the time.
And if he was in with a better opponent, Smitty, and I know you've seen some of his fights with a better opponent, he works exactly the same way. Actually, he has an expressionless face. He doesn't get excited if he's hurt. He doesn't get excited if he hurts somebody. He just, hey, this is his office, this ring, and that's what he does for a living.
Maybe that's what I needed during my career, an expressionless face. I think I showed too much expression.
Well, sometimes I show too much expression just calling the fight. Hey, I love being here. We're in the 9th round. Las Vegas Hilton Showroom in Las Vegas, Nevada. We get the Federal Latin Welterweight Championship fight coming up, and then the World Flyweight Championship, featuring a fellow by the name of Bonilla from Venezuela, taking on a man who hails from Argentina, Hugo Soto, hometown mate of Juan Martin Coggi, who's from Santa Fe in Argentina.
And that'll be a great championship fight. Bonilla defending for the 4th time.
Break.
Closing seconds now. This is the 9th round, and just a lesson of boxing for Des Ford, being taught to him by the former world champ Juan Martin Coggi. And the sun begins to set in the desert here in Las Vegas. Beautiful shot. Our cameraman Steve Greenbaum always gets some great shots like this, and this one's no exception. What a beautiful place, huh? With that sun going down.
You see why I moved here? You see why I moved here, Bob? You predicted that I would move here when I was about 15 years old. It's not much different from Miami. Well, it actually is different from Miami. Straight right jab there by Coggi, follows up with another, and that jab of Coggi's, Bob, is a punishing jab.
Well, that one certainly was, no doubt about that.
Here it is again. Really good right jab there by Juan Martin Coggi.
All right, there's Des Ford. He certainly has given it his all for the ability that he has. He's used every bit that he has. And what he's lacking in ability, he doesn't lack with a heart. I'll say that for him. He hasn't been down. He's worked as hard as he can. He's done the best he can against the world-class fighter and former world champion Juan Coggi. Dezi's done everything he possibly can do within the realm of his ability. It hasn't been effective, and it hasn't been enough to even win a round, in my opinion, from Juan Martin Coggi. But Coggi just having a field day with this guy now, and has about 2 minutes and 45 seconds to finish this thing. This is the final round of the scheduled 10-round affair, and it evidently will mean that Juan Martin Coggi is probably in line for another title shot after winning. This would be his 4th straight victory, unless something very unusual happens in the next 2.5 minutes.
Well, based on my scoring, Dezi would probably have to score 2 knockouts in this round in order. I have him hopelessly behind Coggi. A real good performance pitching a shutout here. But, you know, I like Dezi as a very interesting and nice young man. I kind of rooting for him to survive here, and it looks like he will.
Coggi would like to finish him off and finish in dramatic style. He'd like to add his 45th knockout to his record. He's got the guy puffy around the eyes. He's bleeding from the mouth. He's buckled the legs a couple of times. Bounces the right hand off his forehead at will, looking to land the big left to finish it. He digs to the body. Coggi stands in the center of the ring trying to make Ford come to him so he can get a little bit extra more zap onto the punch. And you see, that's exactly what happens. Ford comes forward, but instead Coggi chooses to back off to get in the position that he wants. There it is, the looping left hand that time. As Ford bounces around to his right, Coggi tries to get into position again to throw the big left hand, which is his power hand. He goes with the jab, and you see Ford bounce left, back to the right, and again, it's Coggi standing in front of him, trying to get in position to land the big power shot. The guy's eyes are closed. He comes in, and this is what Coggi has been punishing the body throughout. Remember, neither fighter's been down. Ford's been shaken a couple of times during the course of the fight, but nothing where his legs have been totally gone. Nice, crisp right hand that time, spins the head. This is all Juan Martin Coggi here in the 10th round of a fight. As Smitty said, he's pitching a shutout, and he's doing it again here in the 10th round. This is the way the whole thing's been going throughout. It's all Juan Martin Coggi. And again, I don't want to take anything away from the young fighter in Dezi Ford. This has been a real learning experience for him to step up from the journeyman class to fight this world champion. Coggi just going through the motions now, finishing this fight out. Clips him with the left hand. He'd like to knock him out. He's got 30 seconds to do it. Can he do it? Digs to the body, comes to the uppercut, and Ford hangs on. In the corner of Juan Martin Coggi, they're saying, come on, finish him off. Now, I kind of agree with Smitty. I don't want to see this kid get hurt. He's too nice a kid. He's really a likable guy, is Dezi Ford. I hope he doesn't get hit any more times, because he's taking enough punishment. Closing seconds of the 10th round. There'll be no knockout now. And a nice, strong finish as the bell sounds, ending the 10th round and the fight for Juan Martin Coggi. An absolute shutout here.
Juan Coggi, Bob, 36 years old, turned pro in 1982. He looked like he could have kept going for 10 more rounds, maybe.
Well, he is certainly showing the experience. I've got it scored 100 to 90 every single round. 10-9. There he is, Des Ford. Cassius Green worked his corner with him. Just a real likable kid. And, you know, while we praised Juan Martin Coggi throughout, I mean, after all, the guy's a 3-time world champ. This kid gave it his all, and you'd like to see a nice, likable kid like him do a little bit better, but he just is lacking in so many areas, Smitty. He doesn't throw punches properly. Everything that he's lacking in ability, he does have in heart, but let's face it, Coggi's the world-class fighter, and he showed it tonight.
But you know, that's something for Dezi to talk to his family about, his grandchildren about. I mean, going the distance with a world champion is something that he'll always be able to say that he did, and this is why Coggi was a world champion. You can see him here with the attack left to the head, right to the head, backing Dezi up, and this is pretty much how the fight was the entire fight, Bob. Coggi coming forward, Dezi going backward, Dezi catching, and Coggi delivering.
All right, Jimmy, I see another Jimmy standing there. It looks like he has the scores. We'll go to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr., for the final and official decision of our judges.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action here at the Las Vegas Hilton, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Chuck Giampa, scores the bout 98 to 92. Judges Al Siciliano and Carol Castellano both score the bout 99 to 91. All three in favor of the winner, Juan Martin Latigo Coggi.
So no surprise there, except for a couple of the one judge had it 98-92. We must have missed something there, Speedy. I didn't see any rounds that Ford won. Any reason why they would have it just a 6-point fight for Juan Martin Coggi? I'd go along with a 99-91, and I even went a step further. I went to the full route, 100-90. I didn't see any rounds that you could give to Ford, and I was, quite frankly, looking for a round that we could have given it to Ford.
I had him all for a Coggi 110-8 round, but perhaps that one judge met Dezi, and like you and I, kind of enamored with the young man's personality. He's a very likable guy.
Well, there he is, the pride of Santa Fe in Argentina, Juan Martin Coggi. Probably has got himself in line for another world title shot in that junior welterweight division. It's a tough one. Vince Phillips, Khalid Railu, Miguel Angel Gonzalez, Julio Cesar Chavez, Costa Azul, all in that division. So he's going to have his work cut out for him, kind of like Ford did tonight when he steps up to fight for the world title again, because these guys are all younger. They don't have quite the experience that he has, but experience is going to get you through when you're talking about guys that can fight like Vince Phillips, Railu, and Costa Azul.
Yeah, well, I just had Vince Phillips, Bob, on my nationally syndicated boxing show. Spent an entire hour with him, and he is a guy who went from had a lot of trouble during the early portion of his career and came back, beat Costa Azul, has really fought like so many guys, way better since he's been a champion. But I think all of them, Coggi would give him problems.
All right, there's the way the fight ended right there, with Coggi doing exactly what he wanted to do. A unanimous decision win for Juan Martin Coggi, and this slow-mo kind of shows you why.